Welcome everybody, Shiur number 641. We're learning today Lila Nishmas Moshe Dov Ben Rabban Zisa, Lila Nishmas Blimer Bas Rab Moshe, and that Yosef ben Sima Shatak Ever Fushleim Psoich Shachol Yisrael. Okay, getting back to our malacha of TOFAIR, sewing. So we established last time, we spoke about the famous machlokes between the levush and the taz. We said in reference to items that were taped together, just real quickly to review, items taped together is running into a problem of TOFAIR, and taking them apart would be running into a problem of koshair at certain times with certain conditions. And we said, we established the fact pretty much that we could go with the kayama, that kayama permanence would apply to the to TOFAIR, to the sewing, as in conjunction with our sticking items together and taking them apart. Again, sticking two items together with glue, tape, or the like will be a question of TOFAIR. Taking them apart, question of koshair. And then we established this last year the question of the machlokes between the levush and the taz in reference to items that are taken out of a store, which we're going to get much more into be'ezras Hashem when we get into the malacha of koshair. But I just wanted to establish it because it's important to keep in the back of our minds as we go through these halachas, because they're very, very closely related. That the kayama part, in reference to coming back from a store, when somebody has a sticker on clothing, for example, we said that the levush says it would be allowed to be taken off because of the fact that the store owner put it there without a permanence. They want the person to take off the sticker as soon as they get home, so that they could use the item, so that they could use the clothing or whatever the case is. And we said b'shem the taz, it only goes in conjunction with the amount of time. In other words, more than 24 hours and less than 24 hours. Less than 24 hours. It's only then that we say kayama permanence or not. Okay, so we're going to put that on the side for now. But now we're going to get to another part. So that's more like on the koshair part, on the separating part, and the tearing part. Now, what about the actual putting together part, the taping part and the gluing part? For example, somebody has, today we have on the Pampers, children's, babies' Pampers, you have a lot, you have Velcro, but we used to have, and maybe some diapers still have, but they have the tape. They have the tape that diapers up taped together. So the question is now, if somebody, so again, so now we established the fact that we could talk about permanence or not. There is such a thing as permanence or not by TOFAIR, by sewing together. Now, again, I want to make it clear, we're not talking about the item from the store issue anymore. That's something we're going to get back to be'ezras Hashem. But now the question is, if somebody at home, for example, has a diaper, they put it on a baby, would they be allowed to tape the diaper? So the question is, one takes the tape, let's say the ends, and they put it on the baby, and now they close it together. So now, 1 second, we see now that one is taping the diaper. We said to use tape to put two items together in a sticky form, whether it's with tape, glue, or paste, or the like, is going into a question of TOFAIR. So how would one be able to put on a pamper on a baby? Let's say in a case where it's not Velcro. We established the fact that Velcro is fine. Velcro is no problem across the board. That's made to open and close. But let's say the diapers, the Pampers that do have tape at the end, so putting it on a baby for sure is no problem, as we've established that we could go with the kayam, that would not be any kayama over here. There would not be any kayam over here, obviously due to the fact, no permanence over here, obviously due to the fact that once somebody closes the diaper with the ends, the tapes, obviously it will be opened less than 24 hours. So that b'chalal would not be a problem. Now, I want to just make one thing straight. When we spoke about last shiur, it shouldn't get too confusing in reference to the amount of time a person, they take it out of the store and they have in mind the manufacturer puts on the sticker in order that the person takes it home and they open it up right away, and that might be more than 24 hours. That's in reference to a item coming from the store. Now we're talking about in somebody's house. So fine. So again, they put on the diaper on the child, the pamper, to close it up is no problem. Again, because of the fact, even though one has tape and they're taping it together, there's not going to be any permanence over there. B'chalal, obviously, as we could all understand, that diaper will be opened. It will be opened fairly shortly. Now, just on that note, which basically doesn't apply, but it did apply years ago, brings down the HILCHOS Shabbos home that it would be allowed, it is permitted to fasten a diaper with safety pins. Let's say somebody has a cloth for whatever reason, they put it on the child, and they want to use safety pins, the same thing would apply, that would be okay. So he says like this on page 77, it is permitted, it would be allowed to fasten a diaper with a safety pin, even by threading it through the diaper twice, since the pin will surely be removed when the diaper is changed. So of course that's not a problem either. All these type of things are no kayama, no permanence, and we established the fact, basically, b'shem Shulchan Aruch Harav, that we can rely on the fact that there is no permanence over here when we attach to the fact that we say Eina kayama by TOFAIR, no permanence by if we have to see if it's permanence or not by TOFAIR, by sewing, just like by tying knots. We established the fact that we could rely on that also. The only thing is, we did say in the Ramah, it shouldn't be done in front of an Amaretz. Okay, moving right along. Now, moving right along, I want to talk a little bit about the diaper issue. Again, those who have Velcro, obviously it's much easier. Velcro is made to open and close. That bichlal is not a problem in general. We said with the Velcro, even longer periods of time, that's fine. But now, getting back to where we have the tape, where they have the tabs, the tape, and you close the diaper. So he goes further, does the Sefer Shabbos home, that it would be allowed to fasten the disposable diaper, like we know, with the adhesive tabs, the tape at the end. That would be fine. But he does say one must be sure to unfasten the tabs when removing the diaper. When one takes the diaper off the child, not to pull it off, like to pull it down while it's still taped together. In other words, let's say on Shabbos per se, somebody closes the diaper, very good, no problem. So now they want to pull it off, not to pull it off and just throw it in the garbage, continuously leaving it taped like that, because that could be running into a bit of an issue. Now it's going to stay taped. It's going to stay taped for a very long period of time, as we could understand, more than 24 hours for sure. So he does say, but one should be careful to unfasten the tabs when removing the diaper. Now, as far as when one throws away the diaper, again, when one has plastic tabs, the tape on the side with the Velcro, it's much easier. We said Velcro is fine. Okay, so now, but when one disposes the diaper, in general, what one should try and do, instead of taking the diaper, of course we know we roll up the diaper and during the week one tapes it together at the ends, and like this it stays closed. The best way to do it, that's obviously going to stay for a longer period of time. The best way to do it, does the Sefer Shabbos home, also when disposing the diaper, one must not fasten the adhesive tapes to the diaper, not to tape it down like we do during the week, but to leave it open. In other words, to gather it together as much as possible and pack it in, or sometimes some people put it into a bag. I know some people put it into a shopping bag. They close it up and they put it into a shopping bag, but not to, preferably, again, not to tape it up, not to fasten the adhesive tapes once it goes into the garbage, because obviously it's going to be staying there for a long period of time. Now, if they left it open and they just threw it in, and over time things got pushed around, the tape, as garbage got thrown in, whatever, the tape got pushed onto the diaper, that of course is no problem. That's all unintentional. Nobody's doing that with any intention at all. So that is all fine. It's just a question of intentionally taking the tabs and the tape and taping it, packing it all up together, and that's going to be staying for a longer period of time. Just to read the Lashon from the Sefer Shabbos 39 Malachas on page 814, he brings down that retaping a soiled diaper to seal it shut before disposal is taka questionable, even if the tape could be cleanly removed. In this case, the tabs are never meant to be detached, and might therefore be considered permanent. A person wants to basically keep it closed in general, because of the fact that they wouldn't want it to open up in the garbage or wherever they're putting that diaper. So they want it to stay like that, closed. Now, I do want to say one thing, that the Sefer Lametes Malachas, he does bring down that there are poskim in general that say that, he brings down like this, just to read the Lashon. Another consideration is the fact that the entire item is to be discarded. When we're throwing it in the garbage, in a case like by the diaper, where the only purpose of taping is use the diaper is simply to prepare it for discarding. In other words, just basically to throw it out. I really don't need the taping at all. I just want to get rid of it. So there are those poskim do want to say that it may be classified as temporary, meaning no permanence, even though it's going to stay a longer period of time. But since one is discarding it to throwing it out, so he does bring down that there are some contemporary poskim quoted that permit taping the use of the diaper on this principle in such a way whereby one would be allowed to close it. Lamaisi does bring down. The bottom line is it is better to be stringent and avoid retaping the diapers after use. The soiled diaper should be folded and wrapped in a plastic bag, like we said before, if one needs to seal it, because of its odor or so on. So the best way to do it in general is just to, just to wrap it in a plastic bag and throw it in the garbage, put it on the side or the like. Because the Lamaisa, we do say that it is better to be strict and be careful to avoid this retaping of the diaper. If somebody did it, does one have to go ahead and start reopening the tape or whatever? No, that does not have to be done, because Lamaisi does bring down. There are some contemporary poskim who do want to say that the taping of the diaper on this principle would be okay. So, but if it was done, it's fine, but one should preferably put it into a bag, or just, fold it over without retaping the ends. Okay, unless with Velcro. Obviously with Velcro, that would be okay. That would be much easier. We said Velcro is not a problem. Number one, Velcro bechlal, we said, is not a problem, even for longer periods of times. Number one, it's made to open and close. And number two, you can even have these poskim to rely on, that lamaisa with Velcro, bechlal, it's being thrown out. It's not the person who doesn't have it in mind to stay closed altogether. It's just want to throw it out. With tape, it's much stricter, but with Velcro, it would be much easier to do, to pack it up all together, even without the plastic bag. But with tape, we should be careful not to do it and just to put it into a bag and throw it out. Thank you for listening. Atzlach and bracha, kol tov.